All right. So again, welcome to the 2022 Ohio River Foundation Annual Meeting. So as far as the structure for this presentation, the Ohio River Foundation team will go through some updates. We'll give our presentation, and then we'll save a bit of time at the end for questions. So just make sure you either ask questions in chat or hold them till the end, and we'll give you time to talk through them. So let's get started here. To kick things off, we'll start with Rich Kogan, the Executive Director of Ohio River Foundation.
Thanks, Bethany. Thank you all for joining us. Should have cleared my throat before I started talking, but just getting over a little bit of an illness. But thank you for setting aside some time on your lunch hour to learn a little bit about Ohio River Foundation if you're new to the organization, as well as some of our longstanding friends. Thank you for joining us. Ohio River Foundation's annual meeting will be going through an intro and overview, program updates, finances, and operations information from 2022, as well as a glimpse of 2023, as well as events, and of course, looking ahead as we are really excited about what we are going to be working on for this year. As many of you know, the foundation has been in operation for more than 20 years as we continue to broaden the scope of our work deeper into the watershed, both on restoration as well as advocacy and education work. The work of the organization, as you'll come to learn if you didn't know already, when we talk about our different programs, depending upon whether it's education, restoration, or advocacy, is looking to work throughout the entire 14-state watershed as far as advocacy, but our education program more focused in some particular cities in the Ohio River Valley, and of course our restoration work, which is operating about 150 miles radius from Cincinnati. To date, and these numbers are going to jump this year. Very excited about some of the things that we'll be working on. But these numbers demonstrate the breadth of work that we've been had these last couple of years, especially, but over the course of 20 years, we really are achieving quite a lot as far as the breadth and scope of the accomplishments in the different areas. It's not just education, it's not just restoration, it's not just advocacy. So we're very excited about what we've accomplished, but we're even more excited about the next 20 years. And part of that is from what we can show you about the growth of our staff and the breadth of staff that we have in the different areas that we focus. The full-time staff, we've added in the last 2 years, 3 full-time people, and then part-time seasonal staff. We continue to look for and hire additional people that can help us educate thousands more students in Greater Cincinnati, Columbus, and Lexington, and of course, increase our advocacy and restoration work. We're equally excited to have added a few more board members in the last year. Most notably, Kevin Jones, former regional president of Huntington Bank, and Michael Fiallo, chief sustainability officer at Fifth Third Bank. This year, we plan to add additional board members to our board of trustees, with the expectation that we will continue to fuel the growth of the organization with these board members, in addition to the different revenue streams that we are continuing to grow. With that, I'm going to introduce our programs. The first program description and information that you will learn about is our education program. So with that, I'd like to introduce you to Evan Bansaf, Education Programs Coordinator. Evan, take it away.
Hi, everyone. My name is Evan Bansaf, Education Programs Coordinator. And today I'll just give a brief overview of mainly our two big ongoing education programs that we do, which serve school students. The first being River Explorer. This longstanding program that we've done for many years, very successfully, serves school students 4th through 12th grade in the greater Cincinnati region, as well as Columbus, Ohio. And River Explorer staff takes these 4th through 12th grade school groups into shallow areas of Ohio River tributaries, one example being the Little Miami River. And we lead a field trip wherein we are collecting fish and macroinvertebrates as bioindicators, leading the students in a self-guided habitat assessment of the area, and explore water chemistry and for younger students, water cycle concepts and fun activities centered around watershed education. Next slide, Bethany. And just some quick highlights about the success of the program in 2022. We had 2,439 students participating across 24 schools, and that includes both the greater Cincinnati region and our Columbus, Ohio schools. The 30 to 40% improvement per class is a kind of a general historical calculation that we've made, and we do that using pre-trip and post-field trip quizzes that we ask teachers to administer to their students, so we can see, kind of gather what knowledge they had prior to our field trip program, and then assess after they've taken our field trip and see what improvement they've had in the subjects that and the material that we taught. And I'll move on and talk about our little bit newer program that's having very good success, the Muscles in the Classroom program. Sorry about that, Bethany. We kind of skipped over the slide with the really cool pictures to see this stuff in action. Muscles in the Classroom, much newer, more innovative program launched in 2017. This is an in-classroom program. So our educators take 5 freshwater mussels to school classrooms, and that can be anywhere from kindergarten through 12th grade students participating. And we bring along a 10-gallon tank and the lake water and all of the necessary supplies for the teachers to guide their students in caring for these mussels for 2 weeks in their classroom. And they can observe and learn, and they can take part in the activities and lesson plans that we provide to them. We also offer an in-classroom presentation to go along when we come to set up the tank. And we also have a virtual option for that as well. And I should mention that this program, we are able to branch out a little bit further, and not only do we serve the greater Cincinnati region and Columbus, but we also branch out into southeastern Indiana and some areas in Kentucky as well, including as far as Lexington, Maysville, Williamstown. Among all of those in 2022, we served 2,696 students across 23 schools. And the cool thing about this is that if we take just one tank of mussels to one school, the teachers can often cycle through other groups and student classes within one school. So we can really have a lot of students participating and getting a chance to experience them. With this program, we've also thus far seen roughly 30 to 40% improvement in the subject material that we're teaching per class. And we continue to collect this in the same way by asking that teachers will administer a quiz both before and after we visit the classroom and do the program. And here's some action shots of mussels in the classroom. Students and teachers are always really thrilled to see what we've brought with us, and it's so far is a really big success, and we're hoping to grow this program, really grow this program in the coming year. And the only thing I wanted to mention about education programs, another project that we'll be working on this summer is our Student Conservation Leaders Summer Program, which is a week-long program for high school students. We've done this once in the summer of 2021, and with some other staff help, we'll be running this program again this summer, 2 weeks of it. And we're really hoping to make it even more accessible to all different demographics of students in the greater Cincinnati region. So stay tuned for more about this exciting program that we're offering this summer. And I think without further ado, it's time to move on to our restoration program. So I'll introduce to you our restoration program manager, Jessica Teggy.
Yes, hi. Thank you, Evan, for the introduction. Jessica Teggy, Restoration Program Manager. Happy to be here. Next slide, please, Bethany. So between our invasive species removal work, our barrier removal work, and our tree plantings, the environmental restoration team here has been busy, and our 2023 schedule is looking impactful as well. And we've already hit the ground running. So to start, we have our grant-funded Twin Creek live staking project. Twin Creek is a tributary to the Great Miami River, which is a tributary to the Ohio River. And we're actually nearing the end of our installation period here. We've planted well over 10,000 live stakes, which are basically trees. And these live stakes are dormant tree cuttings that are pushed into the side of the stream bank, where they soon grow shoots, but most importantly, roots that hold on to the stream bank and keep it from eroding. Sediment is the #1 pollutant in our waterways in this area, so this is really important work. These trees also provide habitat and species for species in and out of the water, as well as filter our water before it enters our stream. For 2023, we also have a few other tree plantings scheduled, so stay tuned for those. In terms of contract work, we are back at Summit Park. This is in Blue Ash. We're working about 15 acres of land there, keeping it clean and healthy for pollinators, as well as including volunteers in invasive removal and the occasional native planting. We'll also be at Alms Park this year. Again, it's a partnership with the Cincinnati Parks system. We'll have volunteer events there, mostly honeysuckle removal. So keep an eye out. Kingswood Park is another park we're working in. That's in Deerfield Township. We're up to about 13 acres or so worked there. A beautiful park. I'd highly recommend taking a dog out to walk there. But we're happy to be there again. We'll offer volunteer events at Kingswood Park as well. That'll be all listed on our website. And then new this year, Bethany, I think we have a slide on the golf course, but we are working with the Blue Ash Golf Course. This is fun. We are managing their prairie to encourage more pollinators, especially monarchs, into that area. This is the first time in a while, at least, that we've worked on a golf course. So we're really excited about that partnership. SISMA, some of you may be familiar with our SISMA work, but it stands for ORF SISMA. It stands for Ohio River Valley Cooperative Invasive Species Management Area. A bit of a mouthful, but we bring it down to ORF SISMA. It's a coalition of nonprofits, agencies, and businesses basically working to control and remove the invasive species in a 22-county area in the Ohio River Valley. Its premise is basically because invasive plants are expanding across our landscapes faster than one group can stop them. A coordinated approach offers the best chance of managing their spread. And Ohio River Foundation is currently coordinating the SISMA efforts. Upcoming SISMA news, we will be hosting 2 webinars during 2023. They will be educational and directed toward the general public. Those dates and topics will be announced soon and will be listed on the SISMA site and the Ohio River Foundation site. Other brief SISMA news, our invasive species tracker is now launched, so please submit your personal removal statistics and locations to be included on the SISMA website. We welcome all really to join the push to protect our waters and soil and our pollinators and other native species. That can be found on the SISMA site as well. In terms of last year's numbers, real quick, I think back one, perfect. 2022, 34 total acres were protected. These numbers are pretty high. So over 75,000 invasive plants were estimated to be removed by Ohio River Foundation staff and volunteers, as well as 110 native trees planted. That number will obviously be much higher this year. We're excited about that. And we hosted many volunteer events, totaling 400 hours of volunteer participation. So we had a great year in 2022, but we are looking forward and excited about 2023. And with that, I'll throw it back to Rich.
Thanks, Jessica. So as you can see, we have a lot that has been accomplished in 2022 and really excited, and to a certain extent more to talk about 2023. So as far as what we did in 2022 advocacy wise, we started to flex our muscles even more. It's been a couple of decades that we've been involved on different issues, and in 2022 we started to be a little bit more engaged with some of our regional and national partners on a couple of top level issues. One being nutrient pollution. People may know about algal blooms and nutrient issues, not just on the Ohio River, but also on different tributaries. Of course, there was the anniversary of the Clean Water Act, and so we highlighted that. We also, though, are looking to expand on some of the issues involving the Clean Water Act, where we believe it may need some refreshing and some attention regarding some of the toxins that still are being discharged into the Ohio River and some tributaries. Then, of course, as people know, there are chemicals that are referred to as forever chemicals that are known as PFAS and PFOA and a different, some other classes of toxic chemicals. So we are continuing to engage with our national and regional partners to highlight the issues involving these particular toxins, as well as the endangerment of drinking water supplies. So we look forward to continuing those efforts this year, and we look forward to also educating you and other supporters of Ohio River Foundation about these issues and our work on these issues. In particular, something that we're also very excited about on the advocacy side is some of the issues involving the Clean Water Act that have to do with permitting. And so we'll be talking more about that in the coming months as to the shortcomings of the existing permitting program that we currently operate in the country. We also will be talking about restoration. There are some different organizations that we are working with to try and bring some restoration program at a national level as far as financial support to the Ohio River watershed. There are restoration programs for the Chesapeake Bay, for the Great Lakes, and other regions, but the Ohio River watershed has been shortchanged, if you'll permit me that analogy, as far as dollars are concerned, that metaphor. But we look forward to really trying to bang the drum a lot louder on issues that are near and dear to not just our organization, but other organizations that we're working with concerning Ohio River watershed pollution and restoration. Excuse me. Last year was a very good year financially. We're very excited about it. It was a breakout year for us as we eclipsed the $500,000 number on revenue. And this year is shaping up to be another great year, as finally, I believe we have the wind at our backs, wind in our sails. So we're very excited about the growth potential of the organization going forward. In particular, the restoration program, we are receiving almost monthly inquiries from different companies and different funders as to how they can support our restoration program. Furthermore, as far as the education program is concerned, we're also broadening, as you'll see in the next slide, or in a slide or two, our different funding sources. We're broadening out the number of private foundations and corporate foundations that support the education program, especially when it comes to the Muscles in the Classroom program, the uniqueness of the program, the power that it has, the cost efficiency. We're really getting a lot of interest, and we're really excited about the growth potential of that program and the visibility that it's bringing to the organization. And we exit 2022 with more than $250,000 in liquid assets. Some of the updates that we touched on, or I touched on in discussing the new board and staff. So in 2022, as I mentioned, we added Michael Fiallo, Kevin Jones, and Karen Stonesmythe, who is helping us both on the restoration and the education teams. I'm also extremely excited that this January, we added a new full-time person to our roster of employees, Melinda Voss, who comes to us from the Cincinnati Zoo, where she was Senior Education Program Manager. We're very excited about Melinda's excitement that she has brought to the team and the direction that she's going to be taking the education program as we continue to build out and grow those programs, both River Explorer and the summer course, as Evan mentioned, and of course, the Muscles in the Classroom program. Lastly, for my section, as I mentioned, as far as funders are concerned, these are some of the funders that provide support to the organization on different years. We have additional funders that cycle through and provide support for the organization. They're on 2- and 3-year rotations. We do not list on this some of the funders that we also have for the Cincinnati Coffee Festival event, but we're very excited to have added Cargill, Accenture, Green River, TC Energy, and there are a couple of others that also are joining the fray as far as 2023 is concerned. So I look forward to updating everybody during the year, as well as at next year's annual meeting, as to the new companies that are supporting the organization, including, I see here, Beam Suntory, which is Jim Beam beverage. With that, I'm going to pass it now over to Bethany to start the discussion about our events.
Thanks, Rich. Again, my name is Bethany Miller. I am the Development and Communications Manager for Ohio River Foundation. I'll lead the events section off by talking just a little bit about the Cincinnati Coffee Festival. Some of you may be familiar with our annual fundraising event, the Cincinnati Coffee Festival. Last year was our 5th annual coffee festival, and we are excited to say that things are getting back to normal as far as COVID restrictions. Our festival was kind of back to what it used to be. We were able to have about 50 vendors join us, and we had over 4,000 attendees. So that was very exciting for us. The festival launched in 2017, and it's actually grown to become the Midwest's largest coffee festival. And the 2-day event attracts coffee roasters, coffee and tea shops, bakeries, chocolatiers, people that make crafts that are focused on the coffee industry. So we're always very excited about that event. And it got started to kind of bring our message to a larger mainstream audience, because you can't have great coffee without great water. So it's a great way to introduce people to Ohio River Foundation and educate them about our message while supporting our local coffee community. And finally, this past year, we were able to raise about $100,000. So it was a very successful event, and we're already gearing up for next year. And we'll talk about that in just a few slides. But I'm going to hand things over to Sarah Brandt, our membership coordinator, who will talk a little bit about our Wild and Scenic Film Festival.
Thanks, Bethany. I'm Sarah Brandt. I'm the membership coordinator for Ohio River Foundation and also the film festival manager. So last year we brought back the Wild and Scenic Film Festival. It was our 4th annual festival. We hadn't had one since 2019. So last year was very exciting to bring that back. It seems as every film festival that we have, it grows and is more successful with each passing year. So last year was definitely our most successful film festival that we've had. With our sponsorships and raffle donations and ticket sales, we were able to raise more than $14,000. We had over 100 in-person attendees. We also had over 100 virtual attendees. It was the first time we had a hybrid film festival, so you can either join virtually or in person. So that was really exciting for us to add that feature. We will also be doing that again this year. So Bethany will talk a little bit more about our upcoming film festival this year. A little history on the film festival. It's one of the largest environmental film festivals in Northern America. It was started by the Watershed Advocacy Group Circle, which stands for South Yuba River Citizens League out in Northern California. They had their first festival in 2003, and they decided to kick off an international tour, opening up the film festival for other organizations like us to kind of piggyback on their success. So the film festival, we usually start with a short reception hour where you can get light bites and drinks, and we have a raffle. And then we will start the screening. And we usually show between 10 to 15 different environmentally related films. Last year, we had 13 films. Some of the topics of the films from last year was a family canoe adventure, vertical farming, conservation of the monarch butterfly, Klamath Dam removal, pond biodiversity, and climate resiliency wildfire projects. In the past, other films highlighted topics ranging from community activism, adventure, conservation, water and energy, climate change, environmental justice, indigenous culture, etc. So we really try to have a wide, diverse array of films for everyone. And it's just a really fun event for us and the community. I'm going to hand it back over to Bethany.
Thanks, Sarah. So I'm going to spend just a couple minutes talking about kind of giving you a snapshot of things that we're working on for this year. And then after that, we'll go into the question part of the program. So as Jessica mentioned, they're working on, her team is working on a very large live staking project up in Twin Creek, which is up in the Lewisburg area, kind of northwest of Dayton. We had a volunteer event last week get canceled because of high water and possible flooding. So we're rescheduling that for March 18th. So you can look for details on our website. That event is open to volunteers. It should be a lot of fun, and we hope the weather cooperates with us for this one. We'll also have more volunteer events to be announced at a later date as we work with Kingswood Park, Summit Park, and our friends at Alms Park. So stay tuned to our website and our newsletters, social media. We'll be announcing those dates. And our SISMA partners always have a lot of great volunteer events as well. So if you're looking to get out with us and help remove invasive plant species, plant native trees, it's always a good opportunity to work with us on those events. Sarah mentioned we're getting ready to host our next Wild and Scenic Film Festival on Friday, April 21st. And that'll be at the Woodward Theater again this year. A really fantastic venue and over the Rhine. We love working with them, and it's a great place to host the festival. Tickets will be going on sale very soon, towards the end of this week or early next week. We'll be announcing that through all of our channels. We're very excited about that. And then the Cincinnati Coffee Festival, we're already gearing up for this year's event. It will be October 21st through 22nd, again at Cincinnati Music Hall. They've been great to work with, and Music Hall has just been an excellent venue for these events. And then finally, a few other things. We're working on a dam removal project this year. Rich mentioned Jim Beam and as one of our funders and supporters, we'll be working to remove the Long Lake Chapeze Dam, which is actually pretty close to their distillery. That'll be happening around fall or winter of this year is the timeline. So we're very excited about that. And then finally, we'll be hosting some topical webinars. Jessica mentioned SISMA. We had the opportunity to host a few SISMA webinars in 2022. We hope to host some more this year, as well as some other informational presentations featuring more of our program work and other initiatives. And that's just kind of a taste of what we're working on. We'll have much more to announce, of course, throughout the year. So stay tuned to our newsletters, social media, and website for more updates. And with that, I will say thanks again for joining us. Many of you on your lunch hour, we appreciate it. We appreciate the opportunity to get to talk through some of what we've worked on in 2022 and tee things up for this year. And if you'd like to connect with us, you can do that on our website at ORF@OhioRiverFoundation.org, our mailing address, and of course, follow us on social media. And then with that, I think we have some time for questions. So if you have any questions, feel free to add it in chat or take yourself off of mute, put your hand up, whatever you want to do, and we'll answer your questions. Don't all talk at once.
Well, while people are formulating their questions, I'm going to answer a question that I heard during the last couple of weeks. So I just want to educate people about any involvement that we've had with the train derailment in East Palestine. There was questions as to what engagement we have. Actually, we received a donation inquiry and we redirected that inquiry to the organizations that are on the ground in East Palestine.
Where's the camera?
So anyway, as far as our involvement is concerned, we are relying upon some of the organizations that work in East Ohio and Western Pennsylvania, as opposed to where our footprint is, which is more in the greater Ohio River Valley. So anyway, if anybody has any questions regarding what they can do and what organizations to support, there are some organizations, whether it is, I believe, Ohio Valley organizing. That is an organization that is on the ground there. Also, you can check with Pennsylvania Environmental Council, PEC, Western Pennsylvania Conservancy, and of course, you can send an email to me and I can hook you up with some other organizations that are also involved. But as far as our engagement, it's more on the federal policy level. And so with our regional and national partners, we are taking a hard look at some of the weaknesses in the transportation law that this particular accident unfortunately has exposed concerning drinking water protection. And so we are working with those partners to try and address the weaknesses in regulatory oversight so that the risks to other communities going forward is lessened, if not avoided, in any potential accident that might happen in the future. Any questions? Any more questions?
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
This is Sheikha Nasser. I was a student in University of Cincinnati. I think you sent me the link because I was trying to apply to be a volunteer in your organization, and I enjoyed about the work that you done, and I really want to have the opportunity to work with you, but because I got back home, I cannot be in Burton, but I want to be a volunteer um, by the email or anything that you want me to do to work with you in this to work with you to help the environment and also to Ohio River. My major is law, so I want to be a legal researcher if you have this opportunity, especially about the disaster in East Palestine.
So Ms. Nasser, I suggest you send another email to us. I think you might have my email, and we can continue the conversation offline and see if there's an opportunity for you to help with some of our advocacy work.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm. Any final questions? I suggest that everybody continue to watch what's popping on our social media pages. because things are really moving fast concerning some of the advocacy work, especially the clean water rule, as some of you may be following. So please continue to monitor what's going on in our organization, and we appreciate the continued support. Bethany, should we close up?
Sure. As Rich mentioned, just stay tuned to our social media. Feel free to email us if you have any other questions, and we will get back to you. But with that, we'll go ahead and close things out for today. Thanks again for your time and for attending, and looking forward to talking with everyone again soon. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. Take care.